Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my take on the Trickstar deck profile for the January 2023 format. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Starting off, of course, we run 3 copies of Candina. Candina has 2 really good effects. The first effect being able to, when this card is normal summoned, just be able to search for any Trickstar card and add it to your hand. The second effect is whenever your opponent activates a spell or trap card, you then will burn your opponent for 200 points of damage. Continuing on, we do run 3 copies of Trickstar Licorice. Trickstar Licorice has 2 powerful effects as well. The first effect is that quick effect. You can target 1 Trickstar monster on your hand, on your field, by revealing this card in hand. Then you can special summon this card. Then you can return that other monster to your hand. So therefore, let's say you had a Candina on field and you had 2 Licorice in hand. You can reveal the Licorice, target Candina. And then, because it's a quick effect, you can actually chain Licorice, targeting the same Candina, and then just resolve the chain, and you'll still be able to summon your 2 Licorice. The second effect of it is also that you can then, if your opponent adds a card to their hand, whether that be from grave to hand, or deck to hand, or wherever, it'll burn your opponent for 200 points of damage. Continuing on, we do run 1 copy of Lilybell. Lilybell has the effect of this card can attack directly. Also, it has the effect of if this card does damage to your opponent, you can then add 1 Trickstar monster from your graveyard to your hand. Then to wrap up the Trickstar monsters, we do run 1 copy of Trickstar Corbane. Corbane is practically just like a Cyber Dragon in the deck, being able to special summon itself if you control no monsters, or if you only control Trickstar monsters. It also has another effect while in hand that you can discard this card during the damage step to then double the attack of your Trickstar monster. Continuing on, we do run 1 copy of Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu is just really powerful for being able to lock your opponent if they have no cards in hand, which is easily obtainable using the Droll Reincarnation combo, which I will explain later in the video. But then we do run 1 copy of Artifact Scythe, just to pair with Artifact Sanctum, to be able to lock our opponent out of the extra deck. Moving on into the hand traps, of course, we run 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring is just there to slow down our opponent, and then Droll Lockbird is there for both the Reincarnation lock as well as just being able to make it so our opponent can't add cards from their deck to their hand. Then to wrap up the hand traps, or I call this a hand trap, I run 3 copies of Lord of the Heavenly Prison. This card just says that you can reveal this card in your hand until the end phase of the next turn. Then all set cards on the field are protected, and if either player activates a set spell or trap card, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can set any spell or trap from your deck to your side of the field. However, it is banished during the end phase of the next turn. So that's it for the monsters. Moving on into the spells, we do run 3 copies of Trickstar Lightstage. Lightstage being the best card in the deck, being able to, on activation, search for a Trickstar monster, and then it also has the effect of if a Trickstar monster deals damage to your opponent, whether that be by battle or card effect, it'll then inflict 200 points of damage to your opponent. So that means all your monsters that deal 200 points of damage will now be dealing 400 with the Lightstage. Also, this card has another effect that you can target 1 set card on your opponent's side of the field. They either have to activate it by chaining to it, or that card is locked, and they must activate it in the end phase, and if they cannot, it is sent to the graveyard. Continuing on, I do run 1 copy of Necro Valley. Necro Valley is just there to be able to keep my opponent from moving cards from their graveyard, for instance, like Tearlaments. But really, really powerful card. I pair that, of course, with Set Rotation and Terraforming, just depending on what we need in this situation. Continuing on to dig through our deck, we do run 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. For those who can't afford Pot of Prosperity, you can definitely run Pot of Extravagance, which has had common printings. Or if you really want to risk it, you can play Desires. However, I think that the best option, of course, is Prosperity or Extravagance. Also, we do run 3 copies of Small Worlds. Small Worlds is just there to be able to get us to our Yatagarasu, if we have Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring in hand, we can then activate Small World, revealing Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Then, because it has 0 attack, and so does Drone Lockbird, you You can then banish Drone Lockbird from your deck, just so that way you can be able to search Yatagarasu to be able to activate it on your opponent's next turn, just to be able to keep them from drawing cards. Moving on into the traps, of course, we do run 3 copies of Trickstar Reincarnation. Trickstar Reincarnation just says that your opponent banishes their entire hand, then draws the same number, and then this card also has another effect. While in the graveyard, you can banish this card from the graveyard to special summon a Trickstar monster from your grave. Really powerful card to pair with Drone Lockbird to lock your opponent, but as I said, I'll go into that in just a moment. And then I run 3 copies of Trap Trick. This card has the effect where you can banish 1 normal trap from your deck, except Trap Trick, and then you can set 1 card with the same name from your deck to your side of the field, and it can be activated the turn you activate it. However, the only downside to Trap Trick is after this card resolves, you can only activate one more trap for the rest of the turn. So really it depends if we need the Trap Trick, or we do also run Artifact Sanctum just to be able to summon Scythe to be able to lock our opponents out of the extra deck. So that's it for the main deck. Let's go ahead and move on into the extra deck real quick. Starting off, of course, we do run 1 copy of Holy Angel. Holy Angel can actually boost its attack by if my Trickstar monsters deal damage to my opponent by card effect, as well as if a monster is summoned to a zone it points to, it can deal 200 points of damage. Continuing on, I do run 1 copy of Foxglove Witch. Foxglove Witch just says that if our opponent special summons a monster, it'll then burn them for 200 points of damage. Then continuing on, I do run 1 copy of IP Masquerena. IP Masquerena is just a really powerful card, being able to set it up against our opponent to be able to link on their turn. Our targets, of course, being Unicorn to be able to spin a card by discarding a card, Phoenix to be able to pop a spell or trap by discarding a card, and then we also run Cerberus just to be able to destroy a special summon monster by discarding 1 card. Also, to wrap up the IP Masquerena package, I do run 1 copy of Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. This card could be anything else, however, I just like this card. However, we don't really end on that many monsters on our field, so this card isn't going to come up that often. Continuing on, I do run 1 copy of Line of the Light Charmer Lustrous because it just allows us to be able to extend. Then I do run, of course, 1 copy of Apollosa and 1 copy of Access Code. So that's going to be it for the links, so let's go ahead and move on into the Xyz. Alright, continuing on into the Xyz monsters, we do run 1 copy of Phantom Knight of Breaksword. This card is really powerful, just being able to detach 1 material and target 1 card on both players' side of the field and send that to the graveyard. The second effect of this card, where if it's destroyed, does not come up because we do not play other Phantom Knights. But continuing on, we also do run 1 copy of Abyss Dweller because our Candinas are level 4, just to be able to slow down our opponents if they're playing a graveyard-reliant deck. And then, of course, we do run 1 copy of Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, Sky Thunder, just in case our opponent, just so that we can try to clear boards. But that's it for the Xyz. I actually do run 2 fusions in the deck. Of course, these are mainly for, if we go up against Branded or Dogmatica. We do run 1 copy of Intis, as well as 1 copy of Garura. If you wanted to, you can replace these for anything else in your deck, or if you had a Ultimate Slayer, these are also really good targets. I only have 1 copy, and if you had 3, then I would suggest citing them, and these are good targets for fusions. So that's going to be it for the deck profile, but let me quickly go over the Droll Reincarnation combo. Alright, so for the Droll Reincarnation combo, of course you'll need 1 copy of Drone Lockbird and at least 1 copy of Reincarnation. However, 2 is preferred, just to be able to do this on our opponent's standby phase or draw phase, and hopefully they cannot respond to it. But practically what you do is you'll have your 2 Reincarnations set, and you'll have Droll in hand. So you'll start off by activating your first Reincarnation. You will let this card completely resolve. So our opponent just got a brand new hand by banishing their own hand. Then, on resolution, this is very important that you do this in this order. You will, on resolution, chain Reincarnation. So this will be Chainlink 1, and then Chainlink 2 Drone Lockbird. By sending this card to the graveyard, you can then lock your opponent out of drawing. However, because of Reincarnation, they must still banish their hand, making it to where they do not have a card to play on their turn. And the main reason why we run Yatagarasu is on the follow-up turn, we can just summon Yatagarasu, attack, and then during the end phase, it'll bounce back to our hand, and then then we'll pass our turn over to our opponent. They will not be able to draw due to the effect of Yatagarasu. So they'll just pass, and then you'll just keep attacking, bouncing it back, and just keep going until your opponent loses 2 damage. But yeah, so that's going to be about it for the video, guys. Be sure to leave a like, comment down below what you guys think of the deck profile, as well as what you guys would like to see in the future. Be sure to check out the description for my Twitter links, where I keep posting updates about the channel, as well as just being able to talk to you guys. But with that being said, that's going to be about it. See ya.